On my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are back at it again with another weekly update for the Robinhood portfolio. And I just got to say it, and I'm going to be saying it on all videos moving forward. Bitcoin new all-time high. Good Lord. 118,000. Done well for all portfolios, even those that aren't 100% focused around Bitcoin. But before we get into it, let's make sure that we hit the like button. For those of you who have not subscribed, that have been here more than twice, go ahead and formally join the Wolfpack by hitting that subscribe button and then following that up by hitting the bell notification and turning all notifications on. Then, for my Wolfpackians, you guys need to share the video. We are growing. We have a steady little growth trajectory going, and that's good. But it could be better. So I need to be out in the algorithm. Obviously, those of you who are finding gems in here, I'm having the conversations with you. Clip this content. Just make sure to reference back to the main channel. But go ahead and clip me up. I do not care. Reactions are always welcome. Tag me in the reactions because, like, if you're talking trash, I'd love to have debates. I'd love to have you on. I'd love to do a live stream about that. If you agree with me, I'd love to champion your channel as well. So also, doors are open for collabs. Emails down in the description. Ways to contact me are down in the description. Probably the easiest way would be via Instagram because I check that more often than other things because I am busy living a life, touching grass, existing. So let's go ahead and bring to the stage the portfolio. So the first thing we're doing here is I always show the immediate receipts before we jump into snowball analytics. The reason is because there's no one as transparent as me out here in these YouTube streets. And I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. It's because they're selling you stuff. But I always start with the reference point so we can see the account is sitting at $4,939.33. That is because we have a monthly purchase of Robinhood shares that we do because I believe in supporting the platform and sharing in me paying them all the fees that I pay them for things. I've got the credit card. I've got the, let's see, what else do I have? I've got the credit card. I've got the gold membership. I'm facilitating trades on here. So they're getting fees in that. And I don't want them getting all that money. I want that to be me getting all that money. So for every month that I am on this platform, I have pledged to buy one share of Robinhood stock. So there is probably a little bit of a discrepancy there in the prices. That aside, we're going to run through our positions in the income portfolio. Now, this portfolio is building out to be the lifestyle focused portfolio. So this is kind of the fun money, if you would. Once we get to about $10,000, we got $6,000 more dollars of growing to do left in this portfolio. I'll probably start looking at deploying a little bit of that capital to start taking care of some stuff. We should be moving forward, switching over to the Robinhood card as the daily driver here soon as we are releasing the hounds to eliminate all of our current debt. And we will be starting with, obviously, the little bit of revolving high interest debt. We want to get rid of that first, of course. And once we do that, we'll shift over to building. We'll be putting a little bit more focus on this portfolio here because it's going to be, again, the lifestyle portfolio. So what we're looking at is our target is about $10,000 in here. And then we'll start, doing like a little 50-50 split to help pay down the revolving, which realistically will cover the fun stuff. I'm planning on updating my core expenses, and then we will be pulling that out of our primary income portfolio because that portfolio is going to be built to, if I cut to the quick, my core reoccurring expenses, the things that I need to exist, continue doing these vlogs of the progress, and keep enough of a bare minimum of substance in my body and the ability for me to work out. Will be coming out of that portfolio, but I want all the extra stuff. If I go out, if I want to do a large purchase, I would prefer all of that come from this portfolio. That's the goal. So what we're looking at here currently is, I'm just going to go ahead and do the rundown here, and then we can talk about what updates have happened, because the updates are going to be coming in a little bit slower now, and I'll be talking about that as well. So, as far as drastic changes to the portfolio, we have LFGY. We've got 23.91 shares of LFGY. COIW, we have 10 shares. QDTE, we have 16 shares. PLTW, we have 12 shares. And MSII, we have 2 shares. Ulti, we are now at 400 shares. We are targeting, and I did the math on this, it's about a little bit over 1,100 shares. So that's going to be my target, to get this to $100 a week on average. And that's kind of the goal, is to get this to $100 a week. And then we will then begin buying the MSII shares, which have been, the 2 shares that we got have been doing pretty good, but I want to get this Ulti position because it's very consistent, very flat, very boring, very much liking, because the interest, the APY on it for the dividend return is, 60 to 80%. It's about 80% right now. Can't complain about that. That's a good number for like very base level stuff. So the moves that we've made, we obviously bought a few more shares of Ulti. I'm getting ready to embark on, got a little bit of side work done this morning, which is why this is coming in a little bit late. I had to go to bed early last night. And, picking up a side gig, doing a little side hustle here or there. So I had a little bit of work to do this morning. I got home, needed to take a nap because I did not get enough sleep still. I normally, Fridays might go to the gym and catch up day, but we persisted. And in doing so, this came out a little bit later. I'm premiering this after it's done. Obviously, we haven't gotten our updated dividend payouts for the week now, but my dividend payout's going to be a little bit different. But I've got to figure out if that money's going to go ahead and go towards paying debt or into this portfolio. I think it's probably going to go into this portfolio because August is going to be destructive when it comes to debt. So I'm not really rushing. And I'm going to probably do a breakdown after we get through this month of what we're going to be doing in the month of August and what my focus is going to be, because I'm going to be strategic about the elimination of that debt also. But we are up to 400 shares of Ulti, so we might have another pretty good sized purchase of Ulti coming up. And that's kind of where we're sitting with this portfolio. So what we're going to do now is, let me come back in here. Remove this, stop sharing. We're going to redeploy application window. And we'll share this screen, which is a different one. So now what we've got up is the Snowball Analytics screen. A little bit of a discrepancy because Snowball Analytics does not factor in the margin. And, add a stage. There we go. And then I'm back down in the corner still. So that's not factoring in the margin. But if we're looking here on the screen, and this is actually really cool. I did not know I had this ability. Right over here, we've got our view, which is our total view. And, the next thing that we're going to do here is, let me bring up my dashboard, hop back over here. We will look at where we're at projected monthly. So right now we're looking at $302.10 every month. Not bad. Not bad. I can't complain about that. as far as the goal goes, it still got me projected at 2029. Small portfolio. We're looking at a goal of getting $30,000 into that portfolio. Now, originally, I didn't have a goal set, but I figure at $30,000 a year on just lifestyle, having a portfolio that's just dedicated to lifestyle. And I understand some of the big YouTubers out there. It's like, oh, I'll spend $30,000 in 10 minutes. And I'm like, that's great for you. Love that for you. I don't. So, and I don't need a lot of stuff. Like, I need to be able to get a flight in the country and a flight out of the country. And I don't need to spend $30,000 a month to do every single thing that I want to do. So it's just, different lifestyle, and I'm setting my lifestyle up for me, not for some other dude on YouTube. That's weird and very cringy. So I can't imagine wanting to spend more than $3,000, like $3,500 a month on incidental stuff like being outside. Now, granted, I'm still going to work. I still have a lot of my time tied up, those tastes might change. But I'm feeling like if I got $3,600 a month of disposable income, that's literally for lifestyle, that, keeping that daily driver card at zero won't really be a problem. Like I was saying, at about $10,000 in the portfolio, we should be at a position to where we can, start looking at making some moves to, how should I put it? Making some moves to probably start deploying a little bit of that capital. It'll definitely be helping with the daily driver stuff at that point. Which means that we'll be getting rid of the margin, because I won't use margin anymore, because margin I can't pull out to pay for things off Robinhood. I haven't figured that out yet. Once I do figure it out, water. Once I do figure it out, I'll do a rundown on that, but I haven't figured out how to tap into the margin to pay the credit card bill. But we'll see, because I know I can pull margin out of my Schwab account for anything that I need, which is awesome, which is why it's the primary account, because it does all things that I need. But after the debt's paid off, we shouldn't need margin, because we're going to be deploying a plethora, a gaggle of other tools, so that I don't have to use margin in my brokerage accounts to grow the brokerage accounts. Let's go to the holdings, and we can look and see where we're at on the individual positions. So our COIW doing amazing. We're up 89% in total profit. Oh, that was the thing that I didn't show on the dashboard. Total profit, this portfolio is up 21.5%. Now, my other portfolio, which is predominantly Misty at this point, that I thought I knew what I was doing when I first started, and I was just yield chasing with the exception of Misty, which a lot of people yield chase into Misty, but that was my one informed position in that portfolio, which is why it's the only one that's left in that portfolio. And, we haven't run into as many walls in this portfolio, considering that it's 4 months old. We can always tell how old the portfolio is by how many shares of Hood is in there when I do the rundown, because I buy one at the beginning of every month, no matter the price, just dollar cost averaging, platform support. But we're up 21.5% in this portfolio already, which I am proud of. I'm a little bit impressed by that. I'm not going to lie. I give myself a pat on the back for that one. And let's see how we got there. We did have one hiccup. We went a little bit too volatile in our leveraged positions, which these have to be actively managed. And I am highly considering nixing all of my leveraged positions. And yeah, that's the end of that story. It's just, I've got one other position that I want in here, but it's like, I don't even watch Coinbase that much, because it's not a stock that's a long-term holding for me. And Palantir, also don't watch that one that much because, again, not a long-term holding for me at this juncture. Not that they're not great stocks, not that they could fit in somebody else's strategy. They're just not in my purview right now. So it's a little bit of work managing these positions. I had good entries. They've done what they've needed to do for me. But as far as the work aspect of this goes, the potential chances for me, I am looking at honestly consolidating that. And MSII, I'm going to keep that position. And so it's like consolidating these positions down into either MSII or Ulti to hurry up and get me to those, to rush to those shares, and then using those shares to buy more MSII to have that be the second position, are kind of what I'm looking at. I'm doing pretty good on all of this. Like I'm long-term micro strategy. So I do want to have a big, healthy portion of my portfolio being that. I think Ulti's being the ultimate anchor right now. It is very consistent, every buy is basically the same price. And yeah, I'm really liking that position as an anchor position for a portfolio. Like I'm like, go get like a bare minimum of what you want in this portfolio, which I think I'm going to go with $400. And as this starts kicking off $400 a month, which is $100 a week, I start buying in, and I just get everything to where it's kicking off $400 is going to kind of be what I think my goal is going to be for this portfolio, at least for phase one. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and mark that in stone. Phase one is get everything to where it's producing $400, which is basically for all my weeklies, you're trying to get to $100 a week. And so you might see a week show up where this is condensed down because both of these positions are winning. But let's go ahead and finish that. So COIW is my golden child right now with a total profit of 89.71%, which is awesome. LFGY, another great one. I like it. Crypto related. Understand how it moves. Makes me happy. Is total profit of 15.82%, which is awesome. MSII, we're up 14.43%. Wish I bought more. PLTW, we are up 50.83% in total profit. And then QDTE, we're up 19.63% in total profit as well, which was another one. This is kind of a stabilizer. I like the covered calls on QQQ. It's aggressive, but it's also been a very stalwart position. There's not major catastrophic swings like what you see with some of these other positions where you look in and it's just like, hey, big red candle down, everything is horrible. Ulti, obviously, we're still actively dollar cost averaging this position, so we're not finished on a phase one on any of these positions. Ulti will be the first one, and I think that we're gonna throw everything in the kitchen sink at facilitating that, which means I need to get to my 1,100 shares. Ulti, we're up 2.4%. And honestly, this has been in such a tight range. It's like every once in a while it blips up and you see it at 627. I think the lowest I've seen it is 617. And it's kind of in its range. It's recovering its NAV. It's very NAV stable. Whatever they're doing with their updated strategy on Ulti, hats off to them. It seems to have worked. Also, I'm watching it because if we get to a point to where we are down 10 to 15%, I will clip this position and roll it into something that I understand why it's going down. Not gonna lie, because I've been through a reverse split on this position in and of itself. So we're doing good now, but I am watching it. When reverse splits historically for me are a kiss of death for a high yield income because the income doesn't get fixed. This is the first one that I've seen where they actually fixed what was wrong. Every other one, the income just went to you ended up with a little bit more expensive share, less of them, and the income that you were making wasn't what the income you were making was. So, and it never recovered. Ulti has done a really good job of that, and that's the reason I've given it a chance to be back in a portfolio. And you know what? It's given me a little bit more confidence that I want to have this be the first one that gets to my phase one for this portfolio, which is $100 a week. This one is very easy to do. Like some of these, like QDTE, that's going to be a long haul because I'm going to need quite a bit of it with what it pays. And you know, as an anchor position, I might make this to where it's like $25-$50 a week just because you need so much of it. LFGY shares are just expensive, but that's another one that we could get to $100 a week relatively easily. And, you know, we'll see what we can do with those positions. Last but not least, I want to stress the importance of, hold on, let me get back over in here. There we go. I want to stress the importance of actually having a strategy. It's very important. That's the reason I do these updates, let you know what I'm thinking, the moves I'm making. We're not making a bunch of drastic moves. Everything is dialed in to kind of, I break my strategies down into phases. So like phase one for me is all my primary holdings that are going to be in there. Obviously, we need to trim those down. The leveraged holdings, I'll keep the MSII, but I'm actually, now that I'm even talking about it, I know that I'm not going to keep the other ones because those are require me to be more active. They require anyone who doesn't want to wake up to a big tanked portfolio and panic selling to be more active. Have they been fine thus far? Absolutely. Are they working for me? Yes, but I want to get this portfolio to where it's kind of, I just show up to redistribute those dividends. That's all I really want to have to do. With the other portfolio, my income portfolio is basically the same thing. I tap in once a month, maybe a little bit ahead when the distribution's declared to see if I want to buy more or whatever I'm buying to get into that next distribution. But outside of that, I am not in that portfolio the same. Like I look at it throughout the day, but I'm not making moves. And especially since we're pivoting over to paying off all of our debt, so that way we can start using those tools to grow these portfolios and predominantly to buy more Bitcoin. That's kind of the goal there. As we're moving in that direction, what I'm doing personally is really focusing in on not having to necessarily manage these portfolios as much, because having to worry about market swings on those leveraged plays it's an additional thing I got to do, and I don't want to do it. Like it just is what it is, because they're higher volatile, and then on the upside it's great, and then you ride it, and then it nukes your portfolio, and you run into problems, which is what we saw with the other Misty that was a little bit more leveraged. I don't want to deal with that, so we're gonna keep MSII. I'm gonna filter in. We're also in this portfolio, which will be later, going to be adding one monthly to it. So we're going to have a conversation about that, because I just something on the back end that's also going to help boost the portfolio. But yeah, the phase one of getting all of our primary positions to $100 a week, which is $400 a month, basically. That is where my focus is for this portfolio right now, because stuff is about to start picking up speed. And as we're paying down these credit cards, all this consumer debt and getting that knocked out, we've got to start getting ready for the next phase, because phase one for that primary income portfolio was the 2,000 shares of Misty. We are there now. So like now we're planning for the next phase of my financial journey with that portfolio for what it needs to do. And it's going to be doing a lot extra. Like I'll be able to pay everything out of that portfolio for some well before our Robinhood portfolio gets to where it needs to be to cover the lifestyle stuff. But it's important for me that Robinhood portfolio is covering the lifestyle stuff. Like I'm thinking out ahead, because I want that core portfolio to also be funding investments. I also want whatever I'm not spending on lifestyle to be funding investments, to be buying more Bitcoin, basically. So, all roads lead to Rome. That's kind of where we're at for this week. We'll see you next week after we'll see what moves we make over this week to come. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Final reminder, don't forget to hit that like button on your way out as we have reached the end of the episode. Also, do not forget to subscribe if you've seen this twice. If you're rocking with me, if you're digging how we're launching this portfolio has started from scratch. So we've explained every large infusion of cash into this portfolio, and most of it is side hustle cash, windfall cash, extra money that has come in. This is at least how I build a portfolio. Now, this isn't financial advice. This is just my journey, but like, you get to see this portfolio if you go back through the playlist that this is in, which is building a high yield portfolio from scratch. You can watch how this works out. This is the reason I tell people, like, if you're not putting in 60 to 100 hours a week, maybe you should for a couple of years. Maybe you should for a year. But you can start something like this. The income portfolio that we have, that started with $8,000 that I took a loan. I used one of my credit tools, one of my debt tools, took a loan, bootstrapped that portfolio, and then all extra money that came in went into that portfolio. And I did that when I thought I was losing my job. Or wasn't going to be able to work for a while. Completely panic rushed into that portfolio with a severed Achilles, had to go take a major surgery, which is more debt. And look at where we're at now, almost $50,000 in that account, generating anywhere between, I'd say, $2,000 to $8,000 a month based on what Misty's been paying out that I've been involved in. And we're going back into a bull run. So we're about to see what that looks like. The high yield dividend space does afford opportunities for people to jumpstart their investment and or fix income problems. This is my plan to not have to go to work. This is my exit strategy for the rat race. I thought it was going to be real estate. That was going to take umpteen more years. And, I'd rather be out in 25 months than, 125 months or something like that to be able to get enough real estate. And like, it wouldn't even be that fast for me. Like, this is just way more expedient between this and Bitcoin. I'm good. So, documenting my journey, not financial advice, but you guys get to see what's going on with my accounts, my money. I give all the receipts. And yeah, it's a great thing. So, till next week, people, it's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero. Wolfpack fam, don't forget to share the video. Get me out in that algorithm. Till next week.
Money on my mind. Yeah. Focus, got no time for games. Nah. I don't play it, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.